Periander was the second tyrant of the Cypselid dynasty that ruled over Corinth. Periander's rule brought about a prosperous time in Corinth's history, as his administrative skill made Corinth one of the wealthiest city-states in Greece. Several accounts state that Periander was a cruel and harsh ruler, but others claim that he was a fair and just king who worked to ensure that the distribution of wealth in Corinth was more or less even. He is often considered one of the 7 sages of Greece, men of the 6th century BC who were renowned for centuries for their wisdom. Life. Family. Periander was the second tyrant of Corinth and the son of Cypselus, the founder of the Cypselid dynasty. Cypselus's wife was named Ktesilas. There were rumors that she and her son Periander had an illicit affair. Periander married Lyside, daughter of Pericles and Aristenia. They had 2 sons, Cypselus, who was said to be weak-minded, and Lycophron, a man of intelligence. According to the book Lives of the Eminent Philosophers, Periander, in a fit of rage, kicked his wife or threw her down a set of stairs so hard that she was killed. Greek historian Herodotus has alluded to suggestions that Periander had defiled the corpse of his wife. Employing a metaphor, Periander baked his bread in a cold oven. Grief for his mother and anger at his father drove Lycophron to take refuge in Corcyra. When Periander was much older and looking to have his successor at his side, he sent for Lycophron. When the people of Corcyra heard of this, they killed Lycophron rather than let him depart. The death of his son caused Periander to fall into a despondency that eventually led to his death. Periander was succeeded by his nephew, Psammetichus, who ruled for just 3 years and was the last of the Cypselid tyrants. Periander built Corinth into one of the major trading centers in ancient Greece. He established colonies at Potidaea in Chalcidice and at Apollonia in Illyria, conquered Epidaurus, formed positive relationships with Miletus and Lydia, and annexed Corcyra, where his son lived much of his life. Periander is also credited with inventing a transport system, the diolkos, across the Isthmus of Corinth. Tolls from goods entering Corinth's port accounted for nearly all the government revenues, which Periander used to build temples and other public works, and to promote literature and arts. He had the poet Arion come from Lesbos to Corinth for an arts festival in the city. Periander held many festivals and built many buildings in the Doric style. The Corinthian style of pottery was developed by an artisan during his rule. Writing and philosophy. Periander was said to be a patron of literature who both wrote and appreciated early philosophy. He is said to have written a didactic poem 2,000 lines long. Influences. Periander is referenced by many of his contemporaries in relation to philosophy and leadership. Most commonly he is mentioned as one of the 7 sages of ancient Greece, a group of philosophers and rulers from early Greece, but some authors leave him out of the list. In Lives of the Eminent Philosophers, Diogenes Laertius, a philosopher of the 3rd century AD, lists Periander as one of these 7 sages. Ausonius also refers to Periander as one of the sages in his work The Mask of the 7 Sages. Some scholars have argued that the ruler named Periander was a different person from the sage of the same name. Diogenes Laertius writes that Sotion and Heraclides, and Pamphila in the 5th book of her commentaries say that there were 2 Perianders, the one a tyrant and the other a wise man, and a native of Ambracia. Neanders of Cyzicus makes the same assertion, adding that the 2 men were cousins to one another, and Aristotle says that it was the Corinthian Periander who was the wise one, but Plato contradicts him.